Hey, hey, happy Friday. Happy Digest Day. Megan Schultz here, host of Cream City Dreams podcast on Wednesdays and these small, bite-sized Cream City Digests on Fridays. I hope you're digging this season of joy, listening to all the women who are bringing joy to our city. And you know what's bringing me joy is this detox I'm on, this social media detox in the month of June. And I thought that maybe sharing my experience with this might inspire some of you to pay attention to your attention, where you put it, who you give it to, and really being more intentional about living in the present. And isn't that really what we're all just trying to do? Hello, happy Friday. I am recording this on Thursday, so yesterday, and it's a beautiful sunny day. Finally, hooray, Wisconsin. Summer is on its way. And I am 5 days into this social media detox, and I have to say, I'm loving it. Thanks to those people who have been asking. It's fun to know that people are out there wondering how it's going for me, and honestly, it's fine. I think I was worried I was going to have a harder time with it than I did, but actually 5 days in and I feel lighter. I feel, in a funny way, it's like I've forgotten about it already. I thought it was going to take a lot longer to get over the kind of cravings for it that Tekla and I talked about in the last episode of the May series on attention. And in fact, maybe after a day or two, those cravings went away. So here is what I'm noticing though. On that first day, I did reach for my phone a lot, but as soon as I realized that there wasn't anything to do on there, I didn't. And I think those first few days were a little bit of an exception as well because I was so excited and so focused on starting that I got so much other stuff done. I baked, I meal planned for the week, I read, I listened to an audiobook, I did some meditation, I did some writing, I did a creative project, like all these things that I threw at myself because people always start strong, right? That's why the gyms are so popular on January 1st or maybe January 2nd after the hangover's gone. But a few days in, I'm noticing that I'm still reaching for my phone and that I am replacing the social media with checking other things. So maybe as I carry on the month of June in this detox, I will start moving some other things to off limits on the phone just so that it really, really does become less tethered. But some of the things I talked about in last week's digest in terms of making it a dumb phone really are helping. So I've switched up the web browsers that I use if I need to go to the internet. I've made Google Chrome the default instead of Safari, and Google Chrome has nothing memorized. So I have to re-input anything if I want to buy something, if I want to have something sent to me, all the things that Safari made easy because it just had them in there, I have to re-enter. So it really gives me pause. Do I actually need to do this right now, or can I wait until later when I'm up on my computer and it will go faster and I can get that done in one fell swoop and not be staring at my phone right now? So that has been one thing that has helped me to decide whether I'm going to use it or not, whether I need to actually be doing something in the moment right now. And there have been a couple things that I have missed or that have given me food for thought in terms of why social media isn't the worst thing, which of course it isn't. There are so many good things that can come from it, right? In particular, there's a few things I want to give away, and I realized how active I was in our Buy Nothing group on Facebook. But that just means that, I have a dollhouse and this little bunk bed for baby dolls that we're getting rid of because my daughter has outgrown them. And I just have to actually contact people in person, people with little girls that I know that I can say, do you want this? And it's one extra step, but oh my gosh, I've talked to a neighbor now, 2 neighbors that have little girls that I haven't talked to in months. So maybe that's not such a bad thing after all. I also realized how much I use Facebook as a looking up tool. When I hear of somebody or maybe get an email from somebody that I can't put a face to a name, I'm very quick to go to Facebook just to use it more like an address book. Like, oh, do I know you? Or are we connected via these friends? Oh, I see how I know you if you know these friends of mine, right? But again, it just means I have to search it up another way. And here's the other thing. The biggest thing I was worried about was promoting the podcast and getting the word out that a new episode dropped, especially in this season of joy when these women are so cool. Like, hello, Dana Spandit. I hope y'all listened to this week's episode with the founder and chief pizza slinger of Flower Girl and Flame. She is just so cool. And I want everybody to hear her story. And I was worried that not putting up a post on Wednesday when the episode dropped, that the numbers would be down. But you know what? I just checked the numbers this morning, a day after the episode dropped, and it's already comparable numbers with last season's episodes. So you know what? Maybe I don't need to be posting pictures on Instagram, because the people who listen to the podcast who love these women are going to hear about it from my newsletter, from friends who have forwarded it, from friends who shared the episode. Thank you, Nell. And maybe that's better anyway, right? That's organic growth. That's growth from people who really want to hear these stories. Maybe that's a better way to focus on growing the podcast anyway. So it's giving me food for thought there as well. The one thing I will say that I have been noticing in not having social media, and I talked about this in my sort of apprehension to the buildup of this, is that idea of thinking in bite-sized posts. And if I don't post something or share it with somebody, did it exist? Did it happen? And I have found myself in all of what I've been doing wanting to share it with somebody, wanting to say, hey, look what I did, or say, hey, this just happened. Isn't that funny? And it's just making me, I don't know, reflect on this philosophical need as humans, as individuals, to report. And maybe that comes back to just this need that we all have of being seen, right? Of existing. I don't know, it's just got me thinking about why that need is so strong in us. And I think ultimately it comes down to needing to belong and needing to feel a part of something and not feel isolated. And if, as we are realizing more and more with all of the studies coming out and all the people who are taking a look at what we've done in the last 10 years, or more than that really, on socials, 20 years, and saying, hey, maybe that actually isn't how to create community, maybe that actually isn't the best way to connect with people, then it really forces us to think about, how can I belong? How can I be a part of something outside of that online community? And even if that takes a little more work or effort, how can I create those communities that still allow me to be seen, allow me to report, allow me to kind of share a status update, if you will, but in real life? How do we cultivate those relationships? And so I've been thinking about, what does that look like offline? That looks like gratitude notes. That looks like voice memos or phone calls, or maybe little tokens or gifts, right? I'm thinking about all the love languages now, all the different ways that people receive and give love. And it's fun to now have more time to think about that and to do those things. Where I've really noticed it is in the evenings with my kids, because I am more present. I think there have been nights, I'm going to put my hand up and be honest here, when I have been with my kids at the end of the day, but also exhausted and just wanting them to hurry up, get their teeth brushed, get their PJs on, quick get through the evening routine so I can just lay down and chill and scroll. Somebody please tell me I'm not alone there. And last night, my daughter she set out all her stuffed animals on a little chair in her room, and she started reading a book to them. And it was a long book. And I was thinking about how my pre-June detox brain would probably be like, okay, come on. Yep, time for bed. Oh, look at that. Good job. Okay, yep, good night. Love you. And last night, I just sat there looking at her. And I listened to the story. I listened to how she read. I listened to her intonation. I was looking at how much she's grown. Not that I wasn't tired, and not that I also couldn't have just been reading my book in bed or doing something else in bed, but it really just invited me to pause and be present, because I didn't have my phone in my hand or in my pocket that was kind of begging me to get back to it. So I am grateful for this detox. If you are doing this too, I would so love to hear how it's going for you. And in fact, if you would like to meet up and chat about it, Tekla and I will be at Valentine Coffee on Monday, June 9th from 9:30 to 11. I said that I would only give those details to newsletter subscribers, but I feel like if you're listening to my digests on Fridays, then you're probably a Cream City Dreams loyalist. So you are welcome. Please come join us. Come chat with us. Hear how it's going. Get some suggestions or ideas if you need them, or share your successes. I would love to hear that. We've already got a handful of Cream City Dreamers joining us because the invite did go out to newsletter subscribers on Wednesday with an RSVP in there, but I would love it if you would come down and join us. We'll be at the Valentine Coffee on Downer because it really is fun to do this in community. Just 2 quick shout outs. The registration for Creative Mornings Milwaukee on Friday, June 20th at 8:30 has just come out. If you want to hear Samir Ghani talk, and the theme this month is punk, head over to creativemornings.com/MKE. Get your tickets. They are free, always free, and you're always guaranteed to be surrounded by really cool people who have creative ideas and who are just into the city and to connecting in real life off the screens. So, highly recommend that Friday morning. I also want to give a huge shout out to Marjorie and Carrie and Meg and Darlene and Harper and Andrea and someone anonymous who bought me coffee over at buymeacoffee.com. This podcast is a labor of love, and it has been for 3 years, but it really is a part-time job, and it really does take a few back-end expenses to keep it running. So I appreciate so much the people who see what I'm doing and who appreciate that and who show me a little love with some coffee. So thank you. All right, I will be back next Wednesday with Carlise Kelly, the founder of Panadanza Dance Company, bringing her joy to the stage, but also to some classes that you can get in on. She's teaching at the Delaware House on Monday nights. Check it out. They're called Magical Mondays. And I have to say, listeners, it is so joyful. I am having so much fun. I'm going to try to make as many of these Mondays as I can. So if you want another way to meet in person, to get off the screens, to enjoy everything that Milwaukee has to offer, check out her offerings at the Delaware House on Mondays. And then hear her story on Wednesday, when I will be back with the next episode of Cream City Dreams. If I don't see you at the coffee on Monday in real life, I'll see you back on the airwaves next week. Until then, Milwaukee, keep on dreaming.